It's another episode with Sound on HollywoodHagan. I got the stand-up comedian, realest dude doing it, Marine vet, host of BS with Brian Simpsons. It's a pleasure to meet you, man. Real people doing real things. Welcome, brother.
Likewise.
Welcome. Yeah, man. So first off, man, so you were born in DC, Maryland. You grew up in PG
Yeah.
County. I'm I'm,
Yep.
I'm pretty I'm pretty familiar with it. I got people close in my circle that's from the same parts. DMV represent. So just tell me a little bit about that. I mean, obviously, it's a very cultural place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Very black. It used to be
very
anyway. I don't know what it's like now.
yeah, like the whole go-go movement and all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
feel like it represents black culture. So
Yeah.
talk on that, man. Tell me some. I want to hear some PG County stories. I want to let's get straight into it, man, because that's really what you do, man. You provide stories. You're a storyteller, and I think that's a great, thing to have. So I want to tell me a little bit about your upbringing, maybe, and a story about where you from.
Oh, PG County. I think the whole DMV area is just PG County stories. I mean, what's I like the things because was weird is I was never one of those people that like took a lot of pride in where I'm from.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? But until I wasn't there no more, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
And one thing about home the one thing I missed, not enough to move back because it's still a
Mm.
bit cold over there, but it's just the food, man. It's good ass
Uh,
food
uh,
everywhere. And the swag, you know what it is too, is like when I meet somebody that's from home, I can
yeah,
just tell. I can just
yeah,
tell,
yeah.
even if the accent doesn't come out, I can just tell
Mhm.
by they demeanor. You know,
Yep.
people from home, like out here, people share weed a lot. Like it's a big thing. Like a complete stranger will get you high. It ain't like
Absolutely.
if you at home, you can't even ask somebody what time it is without them looking at you like like you crazy. Like what's like what?
Speak about it.
Because you
Uh,
know it's gonna be followed up by a motherfucker handing you like you somebody asks you what time it is, you go, oh, 3:15. Then they hand you a note and it's like, I don't speak good English. I'm a refugee from Cambodia. I need $5. You know it's some kind of
Facts.
hustle, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I guess that's the good and the bad. It's like everybody got that hustle in them. Everybody's got
Yep.
that extra little something that like I'm gonna get by in this circumstance, you know. And I ain't saying that they don't have it out here, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
a certain brand of it from back home that I miss.
Yeah, man, that's funny that you say that. Like some of my closest friends is they're Nigerian, right? And
Yeah,
PG County attracts the Nigerians, right? And I feel like that's where that little bridge kind of meets with like the hustle and
yeah,
the grind, and that just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like because the people that I do know that are from there, I mean, they got a different mindset. You know what I mean? And it's consistent. You
yeah.
know what I
And
mean?
a Nigerian from DC might be the next president. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
next black president or something, or the next black billionaire. I don't know.
Yeah, speak about it, bro. They have a different mindset, man. I got a buddy who speaks on it every single day. Like he has the mindset to be the next best thing. And it's just like I appreciate it though. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things where it's just like a lot of people lose sight on that mindset. And I feel like it's important in life in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, but it's
Dope.
like we just live in such a fucked up world though.
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
like you know what it is? It's like people like that because I don't know him. I don't know what type of person he is, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know that good. They don't let good people into politics.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? No, no.
They,
Look. A lot of people go in. They go into it with good intentions.
mm-hmm.
Or they go into it with pure motives, but
Yep.
you can't make no changes till you get the power, and they're not letting you get no real power
Mm-mm.
until you like drown a baby or whatever the ritual is for them to have dirt. They gotta have dirt on you. They're not gonna just let you slide. You know what I mean?
Man,
Like I don't know what the fuck they got on
powerful.
Obama, but they got something on Obama. You know what I mean?
Man, they
They got
definitely do.
something.
They
Oh
they they've been
yeah,
they've been searching and digging too. They still are
yeah.
to this day.
Unless you believe, I mean, because that's why he the coldest nigga ever.
Really.
Because he that mean he made it all the way through all them obstacles with no real
Hmm.
dirt on them, or they done killed everybody that know anything. You know,
Yeah,
you
pretty
know what I mean.
much. Pretty
But
much.
I'm of the
Everything.
mentality that anybody that seek power
Uh-huh.
is all automatically evil to me. Like I don't
Yeah.
trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I feel like those type of people are in it for a whole lot of other things. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
and there's a whole lot of other things going on as well.
I think it's you know what it is though. I think a lot of times power corrupts people, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I think a lot of times people go into it not knowing. It's just like money. Like a lot of people think they're gonna stay the same when they get money, and it's like, but you don't have it yet. And then as soon as you get $1 million, all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, I can't live in the hood if I got $1 million
Nope.
because niggas gonna
No,
rob
sir.
me. So I got to live
Absolutely.
over in this. I got to live over in this community, and I can't just have anybody driving up in my community. So I need a gated community.
Mm-hmm.
Now you living away from your people. You living away from the ground, and so you lose touch. You have to
Yep.
you have to put in effort to stay grounded. You can't. You don't
Mm-hmm.
just You're not just born that way. It's not just a gift. You got to actually
Mm-hmm.
try to keep your feet on the ground. You know.
Okay, let's talk about it. Being
Mm.
grounded. I mean, you come from a background where, a lot of us African American men grow up and it just puts us in that grounded state. You know what I mean? Just like, life experiences obviously. And I think that's one of the powerful pieces or the powerful traits that we have as African American men is that, coming from humble beginnings and life experiences that some need to stay untold or whatever the case may be, or whatever, but it helps us develop and grow as men, right? So like, let's talk about what created that piece for you, and keeping you grounded. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I don't even know. To be honest
Man,
with you.
I mean, we could talk a little bit about I know you speak about it a lot, you talk about it a lot, but the foster care raising up, in the foster care, I feel like
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's an automatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that gave me some resilience, man. You
Mm,
know, gave me some perspective because I realized
mm.
that you don't have to be anything. You know that
Yep.
there's no such thing as normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so if growing up through all of that, you develop this mentality that that you're like you cursed or something, that is something broken about you.
Yep.
You know, and in reality, it's just different. You know, I had to
Mm-hmm.
realize that. Um,
Did you feel like?
yeah, I
Did you
mean,
feel like? Did you feel like those sort of experiences were kind of somewhere like out of control, or out of your control?
um, I did for a long time. I did, but then somebody in the military, this gunnery sergeant I had one time, uh,
Mm-hmm.
he told me like you focus too much on what you can't control that you miss what you have control over. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That you're distracted from because regardless of how powerless you feel, you
Mm-hmm.
do have some power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like those
Absolutely.
Amazon workers that walked out of the factory this morning. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like
Yeah.
that in that whole situation, they don't have no power. They
Mm-hmm.
don't sign the checks. They easily
Mm-hmm.
replace. There's no, they got all of these reasons to think we powerless.
Yep.
But you do have some power. Your power to be there or not be there. And
Yep.
so you could focus on one thing or the other. You know what I mean? And so they decided, hey, nigga, we could shut this whole motherfucker down if we just don't show up. That's what I'm.
Going
That
on
and
strike. It's a real
that's
thing.
my whole. That's like the my key attribute. That's like the core of my
Okay.
being right there. Is I'll shut this motherfucker down
And you,
if I
hey,
have
that
to.
I feel it, bro. I feel it when you step up and pull up, and when you start speaking, man. That's kind of like that's what I get. That's the vibe that I get from you, bro. And I appreciate it's a lot of realness to kind of what you do. And you talked about perspective and about, and let's tie that into kind of what you do. So I want you to explain this quote that I put together on here. quote unquote, from you. And I just want you to kind of explain this a little more in detail. So
Okay.
you stated, quote, perspective is humor and pain can help you gain perspective quickly.
Oh damn. When did I say that?
You all that? You said that in a you said that in a magazine interview. I forget the exact name, but I could
Okay.
pull it up for you again. But this was quote unquote. They mentioned that that comedy comes from pain. And for you it was no, actually perspective is humor. Or like they were mentioning that the perspective of humor comes from pain. And in your perspective was perspective is humor and pain can help you gain perspective quickly.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. Because
Yeah.
you don't have to be damaged or
Mhm.
traumatized to be funny.
Yeah.
But I think pain is like it's universal, so that it makes it easier for you to relate to people. And because to me, really, comedy is just translation.
Yeah.
It's translating your perspective so
Mm-hmm.
in a language that other people can understand. And so I think when you're going through shit, when you're overcoming obstacles, it gives
Mm-hmm.
you the language to
Mm-hmm.
get to take one idea and relate it to another idea and relate it to another idea to other people understand.
Sure.
Um,
So
and that's all it is.
at what point did you realize that that was kind of the key ingredient? You know what I mean? Like at what point of your life? I know you mentioned that you so let's take it back a little bit. So you're a Marine vet, right?
Yeah,
Initially you were brought on, you wanted to get into Air Force, right?
yeah, I
Correct me
did.
if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
I wanted to get in the Air Force. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, and hey, we gotta talk about the Marine Corps stories because those is top shelf. So
You a vet?
no, but I have friends and family that served, and I appreciate
Word,
it,
word.
and the service that you guys provide for us as civilians is priceless. So I definitely want to talk a little more about this, for all the vets and all the people continuously serving right now to this day. Um, so first and foremost, you pass you so becoming even a part of this, right? You what'd you do before the thought process of even joining the military, first off? Like
Um,
where did that even come from?
I was just I was just tired of.
Hmm.
Actually, my uncle has suggested it. You want to hear some powerful shit?
I want to hear the
Is
power. I want to hear all the
yo
power. I want to hear everything
I'll never forget because you know how it's because this relates to another thing that I learned, and that is what you say to a child, and I include people that are 18, 19, 20 years old. You're still a child.
Hmm.
What you say to a child is you have to be very careful what you say to children, because
Hmm.
I don't have children. I'm an uncle, but when I interact with the children in my family, I'm very mindful of what I say to them, because you never know what's going to be the powerful thing that they remember. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Something that's nothing to you, that don't mean shit, and it could
Yep.
be something they remember for the rest of their life. And
Absolutely.
anyway, so anyway, my uncle one time, I forget where he was picking me up from. Maybe he was picking me up from jail. I don't know. And and I just remember on the way home him being like, um, "You ever have you thought about like where your life gonna be in 5 years?"
Hmm.
And I think, and I was 18 or 17, and
Hmm.
no one had ever asked me that. Like, where you
Hmm.
gonna be? Where you gonna be in 5 years? Where you gonna be in 10 years? And I don't think before that point, I don't think I had ever even thought about it that far in the
Hmm.
future, you know.
Yep.
And then he was like, and that's the difference between a boy and a man,
Hmm.
is a boy,
Understanding what it's
right?
gonna look like.
Exactly, a boy like a very small child, like a newborn. They think about 5 seconds from now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's all they can think about. And then a toddler might think about later today. And a teenager might think about this weekend. but a grown
Mm-hmm.
man is thinking about 5 years from now,
5 years, at least
10 years.
5 years.
Right, right. So, and it just that shit just blew my mind. He was like, "Hey, just you can always join the military, and they did give you time to think
Mm-hmm.
about it." You know what I mean?
Got you, got you, got you. So,
And
so,
he so
so then
and
it
so
just
he
it
planted
clicked.
the seed. Yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
planted the seed, and then when the opportunity came, I was just like, "Oh yeah, I gotta get up out of here." Because I don't, because staying here, nothing's gonna happen in 5 years. I'm gonna be doing the same shit. You know,
Absolutely.
and to be honest with you, when I came home from the military 5 years later, well, it was more like 6 years, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody was doing the same shit. Not everybody, but most people was
Mm-hmm.
doing exactly the same shit. I could have just paused. The only difference is their kids was older, you
Mm-hmm.
know, whatever. But everybody was doing the same shit, still working the same place, or still with the
Yep.
same ambitions. So I didn't miss out on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of other people into doing it too. Like, you ain't
So
got shit else
that's
going on.
join the military. It's like the
Yeah.
Evit. It's like the Evit commercial. You just sitting on the couch. You ain't doing nothing with your life. Come on
Yeah.
down to Evit.
Well, well, you know what? It's because when you ain't doing shit, you're not when you're not experiencing different things, you
Uh-huh.
because a lot of times people don't know what they want. But in the meantime, while you figuring out what you want, you can find out what you don't want. Try some shit. Be like,
Yeah.
nope, don't want to do that. Yeah, because joining the military taught me, number one, that I didn't want to be in the military. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? I was like, well,
Yeah.
that's not going to be what I'm doing with my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the other shit that I tried while I was in there. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Don't eat Indian food on the first date. All of those little things. You have to go do shit to learn shit. And so
Man,
that's all
talk
it was.
about
That's all it was for me.
talk about it. Talk about it, man. It's like people. It's one of the things too. Is like I feel like people like they don't want to really step outside of their comfort zone. That's a lot of that's what I feel and believe and talk about a lot. Is the second somebody steps out of their comfort zone, it's like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it, right? And I think one of these quotes that you actually mentioned too as well that I think kind of resonates to this point is kind of your experience, one of your experiences in the military. And you mentioned that we're talking about hard work, right?
Mm.
This stuck out to me right away. And I was like, I actually had to listen to it like 5 or 6 times to really like get it to stick. But you said, quote, trying your hardest is when you try until it gets hard. But really, it's trying your hardest, then going harder until you have nothing. Unquote.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you remember saying this?
yeah. I remember saying that. Yeah, that's a
That's deep.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel
It's
like
true.
this stems from your process and being involved in the military and having kind of another perspective or understanding of what's really real and how things should be. So
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit.
that's the number one thing I gained
Mm-hmm.
from the Marine Corps boot camp specifically is that
Yeah.
you're not allowed to quit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't that's when I learned that I had never really tried my hardest at anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it was like, oh, I would just try until I was over it, and then I would be like, that gave it a shot. You know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah. Yep. That's
But
usually
when
how
it's
it
like,
is.
but then the motherfucker's like, yo, you got 10 more, and you like 10,
10.
and yeah, you know what I mean?
Like where's that gonna come from?
Yeah, then you struggle through three more, and you're like, I can't possibly do another one. And they're like, okay, well, you're not going to bed or eating until you do the rest. You know what I
Wow.
mean? You're like, I can't do the rest. You know what I mean? Then you do all 10, and they're like, you know what? And since you took so long, do one more. You're like, I
Mhm.
can't do one more. Yes, you can. You can. You know
Man.
what I mean? Because if you can't do one more, then fail in the middle of it. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But it
So
was like there,
they instilled this. They made it part of your
yeah.
process, everyday
Because
process.
yeah, it was like, yo, if you got anything left, then you
Mhm.
haven't tried.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you got one more step in your leg, then you haven't tried your hardest.
Mhm.
That was
So
the
how do you
lesson
think
I.
that with that lesson, how would you say that resonates to what you do today?
Uh,
We're past that. You've learned this lesson. This is something you kind of stand by and live by. How is
um,
it how is it part of what you're doing now and your processes now?
Just because this industry is crazy.
Mm. Yeah, let's talk
So
about it. Let's talk about it.
yeah, I think it leads to just survival because a lot of I can only speak on being a stand-up, so I don't know about the rest of show business, but I imagine it's very similar. But it's like
Hmm.
everybody come here with a dollar and a dream. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what
Huh?
Hollywood and New York City is for
Hmm.
entertainment, right? And in Atlanta too.
Absolutely.
But it's like in those places are very difficult to live in. Just
Hmm.
just being there, period. Not even being in the business is
Yeah,
difficult to live in, period.
just trying to make means.
Right, right. Because that's the
Yeah.
whole gamble that you're gambling that okay, you moved there with a dollar and a dream, and you gambling that your dollar gonna last till your dream hit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But a
It
lot of
ain't gonna
times it
stretch
don't work
that
out.
far. It don't stretch
Yeah,
that
and
far.
so you got to find ways of just being resilient and just hustle, got that little hustle in you, ways of surviving. Everybody got at least one hustle, and everybody got a job and a hustle, and they
Oh
live
yeah.
out here, or
Oh
or
yeah.
they got rich parents or whatever. Which I don't knock those people either. No,
Um,
but everybody has to have some way of surviving first of all when you
mm-hmm.
decide to make that move to the bigger city or whatever.
Mm.
And then on top of that, the industry itself, like just the business of it, there's so much disappointment and shit outside of your
Mm-hmm.
control,
Yep.
and you're putting a lot of energy into the chance to get
Okay.
something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's almost
Yep.
like if you had to run a 5K to buy a lotto ticket. You know what I mean?
Ooh. Oh
That's
man.
pretty much
That
what
better be
show
a winning lotto
is.
ticket.
Well, exactly. So it's like you getting up every morning, you running a 5K so you can play the lotto, so you can roll the dice, and that's
Wow.
what show business feels like to me. It's like you're
Wow.
putting in a lot of effort for the chance to
Mm.
make it. But the effort pays off because when you get those opportunities, you're ready.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? At least that's the hope. So
Okay.
that's what it is. It's just so to relate back to your question, it's
Hmm.
just to me, it's just about that resilience of like not letting it destroy you, not
Hmm.
letting it affect your self worth, whether you
Sure.
got a thing or whether you were chosen by a person or not. Just
Mm.
staying,
Peace.
trying to stay focused. Yeah, because it'll fuck you up. I mean, I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
I'm not immune to it. Like, yeah, you can get all kind of depression and like, am I
Hmm.
wasting my life? And here we are, we 10 years in. You know what I
10
mean?
years. Let's go. 10
Yeah,
more
we in
and
our we in
more.
our late 30s. It's like, you can't put was trying stand up on your resume. You know what I
No.
mean?
Hmm.
Nah, that's not gonna work for people.
Trying
So
ain't enough.
no.
It
So
ain't.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
no,
that's all it is for me. It's just staying focused, just staying focused on what I came here to do.
okay. Now let's talk a little bit about you talk about the human condition, right?
Yeah,
Um and how important that is to you. So when you putting together your material and when you because I mean a lot of what you do, man, it's pretty raw, it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty real. It seems, to me very, very authentic, and it stems from another place. And I feel like you've had a lot of interactions with people and certain individuals. So can you kind of speak on that and the human condition and kind of what that means to you and how that kind of translates to what you do?
yeah. I mean, I think the human condition is just to me, it's the things that will always be the same
Mm-hmm.
about humans,
Mm-hmm.
simply because of the way simply because of the way they were built. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's like the way that a cat will always chase a mouse. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just part of the way your machinery,
Yep.
and it's those things that like no amount of technological advancement is
Mm-hmm.
going to change. And so
Mm-hmm.
because we like to think that because we have cars and we don't have horse and chariots, that we're better than the Romans,
Mm-hmm.
or because we have guns and no spears, that we're somehow way past cavemen or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
but
Nah,
but in
it's.
reality, it's like when you read history, we still do all the same behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
We just do it faster because we
Mm-hmm.
have better technology, but we do all of the same stuff. Nothing's really changed. And to me, that's the human condition, is when you understand that part of humans,
Mm.
it makes it easier to tell jokes, at least the way that I do, because a lot of
Yeah,
my
yeah,
comedy is just me sharing my perspective. So to
yeah.
me, understanding what makes people tick is such a
Ah,
huge part of being able to convey the
uh-huh.
whatever concisely, you know.
Sure. So yeah, so putting together your material, that's like those are I'm guessing those are some of the things that you think about the most, right? Do you play it off like reaction, right? Like so you on stage, you throw a joke and you get a laugh here, you don't get a laugh here. Like how do you go back to the drawing board on that? Like, you know, do you kind of have things already in order? Like kind of what's your process? I mean, do you pay attention to those type of things? Like kind of what's important to you to continue to deliver and provide, a show that everyone's gonna love. You know what I mean?
Um, I'm not sure I understand exactly what you asked.
As far as just your process in general, right? So, you got, for example, like one of your greatest pieces out right now that I saw was you was working with David Spade on his little Tonight Show. And I thought it was really, really cool how you got so much perspective and so much, detail in that small portion of time that you had, right? And it resonated with everyone. Like everyone was feeling it, right? What's the process of doing that? Do you just kind of just be like, okay, I'm gonna hit this point, this point, this point, this point?
Oh
Like
yeah.
how's
Well
your
with
process in that? Because I thought that was pretty dope. How that just went so smooth. Like every joke hit, every joke, every single one.
Yeah, well with that one, that in particular, I mean, that was my first time um
Hmm.
on network TV.
Lights out.
So yeah, lights out. So I I took it extra serious. That kind of like revived a little piece of me because
Yeah.
yeah, because it was the first time in a long time that like comedy had stakes, you know what I mean? Or at least it
Hmm.
felt that way. So
Yeah.
what I did there was I actually well, I have a whiteboard, so
Hmm.
I would go out. So I decided, they told me I had 5 minutes. I decided I'm gonna take
Hmm.
7 minutes worth of my material and see, write out all the jokes. Then I went out and did the sets, did them a few times. And then I came back and I basically, by like, starting and pausing it, I figured out exactly how long each joke was.
Hmm.
Uh, right. So I basically already have that information, but I knew exactly like how long each joke was, right? And then I went back
Yeah.
through and I used the timestamps and started each joke, and I went back
Hmm.
through and I listened to what words I didn't need to say, like how much extra time it was, long pauses,
Hmm.
pet words, ahs, like how many seconds I could pull out if I didn't say all the unnecessary
So
shit.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then I subtract those times off the joke.
Hmm.
And then I go back out and try them again with each
Hmm.
joke trim down. You know what I mean?
Ah.
And so
Hmm.
if I was trying to squeeze as much time as I could into that 5 minutes by taking
Hmm.
out absolutely all the fat that I could. I mean, I didn't do perfectly when it filmed, but
Oh.
no, nobody else could tell, but I could tell.
I could.
But
It was on point.
yeah. And some of those jokes, like they aren't even the whole joke. You know what I mean? Like I had to cut some of the jokes off, like, because this part of the joke is 20 seconds, this part of the joke
Uh-huh.
is 15. You know what I mean? Like little stuff like that. So I can
Hey, hey, hey. As long as we know as the Wu-Tang Clan is the greatest clan in the world, we good. That's
yo, some people
the
some
only
people got
thing that
mad at me
matters.
about that, man,
Why? Yeah,
because you know what it
that,
is.
you say
No,
the.
but
As soon as you said that, you said the puts power behind a title. Period. Like so when you brought up that point, I was like, oh yeah, he hit home with that one because I mean, like, you know what I mean. But I understand
And,
why people would though.
well, you know what it is that I figured it out, man. Wu-Tang is a religion for some people,
Mm,
right? And you know how you got you know how you got regular Christians and you got Orthodox Christians and you got regular Jews and Orthodox Jews. It's like that.
mhm,
If there's Orthodox Wu-Tang people,
mhm,
you know what I mean?
mhm.
Where they like, nah, nigga,
They
you don't tell jokes that involve the Wu-Tang because the Wu-Tang's not a joke.
they
That's how some people say, yeah, man. Like I
they're
gotta
like
respect
they're like
that.
a god to some people, man.
Yeah, but I don't think the Wu-Tang Clan had a problem with it. At least maybe none of them heard it yet or something. Who knows?
I don't see, but some people are just oversensitive. I mean, that's another thing too. I want to touch on, man. Is just like, I mean, some of the things that you say obviously are just kind of like they're just raw. You know, you don't. It seems like as if like you're like, hey, this is my story, this is my thought, this is my belief, and I'm just gonna go with it, right?
Yeah,
And working in an era where it's it's a sensitive it's a sensitive environment, obviously, which doesn't make sense to me because I mean, if you're gonna appreciate a comic, you're gonna appreciate him for who he is, right? Um, so how do you go about like that process of not being like overly sensitive or touching on certain topics that you feel will kind of rub people the wrong way?
I don't know. I mean, I go back and forth sometimes, man. Sometimes something comes out and I'm like, I shouldn't say that, but but at the same time though, it's like if it's funny, I'm gonna say it. You know what I mean? And there's always thought behind it,
Hmm.
you know, to the point where it's like if something I say like truly harms somebody, like I'm not above apologizing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I mean, yeah,
But
that's you're not
but
in the industry for that.
right, but here's the caveat though. I'm suspicious of people trying to get power over me.
Mm.
So I got to figure out like are you really harmed by what I said, or is this
Hmm.
just your way of like flexing this power you have to like make comedians apologize?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm not gonna give that to you. I'm not gonna just say sorry so you'll go away. It
That's
really
what people
depends.
reach for. People reach for that.
Yeah, what you mean?
Man,
Yeah,
I don't even
people
think
are
about that.
yeah, man, because
What I
you get social points for calling people out. You know what I
mm,
mean? So
okay. Okay.
that's why people. What happens? What happens? Because remember back in the day, you would get into an argument at the post office, and then you would come home and tell your family, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
people post about it on social media because you got to get
Mm.
them extra points
It's the
because you
cloud.
told that
It's the
motherfucker. Yeah,
cloud. It's the cloud.
and so like a motherfucker catch you saying something controversial,
They own
that
it. This is my chance.
they
This is my
yeah
opportunity.
they coming for your neck. Yeah, and that's fine. But there's nothing I'm saying that's trying to be harmful. So I'm always willing to have that conversation. But you can't just demand an apology from me. Like I don't think
Mhm.
I've said anything that warrants that. You know.
Yeah. Yo, man. So some of your material, like one of the focus points that you kind of you dive into a lot is race, right?
Hmm.
And it's obviously a sensitive topic, and the way you kind of wordplay it is great. Tell me where that stems from. I know you talked a little bit about your military move when you moved from. So you started in Yuma, Arizona, right?
No, I never started in Yuma.
Or would you
I was in 29 Palms.
29 Palms? Okay,
Right, and I got orders to Yuma,
okay.
the detachment was actually in San Diego already,
San
so I went
Diego.
straight there.
Diego. So San Diego,
Right.
let's talk about that. So you talked about the experience in San Diego, and I thought it was funny how you was the only black there, right?
Yeah,
Talking.
for a good
So
little minute, maybe like 2 years or 3 years.
so talk real quick. So the reason of that was because of what?
Because before I came there,
Mm-hmm.
so one of the black Marines accused the commander of being racist.
Racist, right?
Yeah,
So so
and I
you
and I
so you, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
yeah, and I
I
don't
mean,
know much of the details about whatever happened
yeah.
between them, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know um how long the how long before how long before me that happened.
Yeah.
But
So I just want to talk about that experience because I thought it was kind of unique, and I think that like a lot of your material and what you talk about kind of stems from that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you touched down, it was like the vibe was off, right? In the sense of like you was the only black dude there. It was a bunch of,
oh no,
Caucasians, white,
see
black,
no,
right?
that didn't throw me off
So
honestly,
okay, that didn't throw
because
you.
ever since I left DC, I've been the only black person in a lot of places. You know what I mean? Like
Facts.
that's part of living in
Facts.
Southern California
Okay.
is
Okay.
very regularly you gonna find yourself the only nigga in the situation.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
facts. Facts.
So maybe this was now maybe that was like my crash course in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that didn't strike me
There.
as that odd.
Yeah.
But it
So,
does happen.
yeah. So the point, but at that point, you talked about how being in that situation, right? And y'all coming to an understanding with each other, right? On
Right.
Let's talk about that understanding real quick.
Yeah, and it was like, yo, I'm gonna say what I want, y'all say what y'all want. How about that? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So,
And man, it's one of the best decisions I ever made.
oh man. So let's talk about that, right? So you at
Okay.
the point now where y'all at the understanding, right? And you firing off, they firing off, everything is kosher, right?
Right.
Um, so at this moment, right? I know you expressed in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, but at this moment is kind of where the whole comedic and like that kind of mindset and that being kind of your calling, right?
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about that process and kind of where that came about, where it hit you, where it's like, okay, this is what I really need to be doing.
Um,
So
I guess
that's
it didn't
unique
really
too.
hit me right. It didn't hit me right away. I mean, I started getting laughs right away,
Mm-hmm.
but um, but I didn't really decide like that's what I really want to do until
Mm-hmm.
you know Dom Herrera,
Dom Herrera. No.
Dom Dom
No.
Herrera. Yeah, so
No. Comedian or
yeah, he's a comedian, old school guy,
okay.
like OG, funny as
Okay.
hell. And
Okay.
I had never been to a live comedy show before,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and, and we were all at Hooters one day, like it was like a Friday morning at Hooters or Thursday morning,
Okay.
and we ran into Dom Herrera. He noticed we was in the Marine Corps, and he was like, "Oh, I love veterans here, boom boom," and he gave us
Yeah,
tickets
yeah.
to his show that night.
Dope, dope.
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, just come through, bring as many people as y'all want." So a lot of us went through, and he killed it so hard.
That you were like,
And then
hold
he,
on, man.
yeah, man. And then no, but then when we were leaving, all my friends were like, "Yo, you gotta do this. You gotta do it." Like
Uh,
everybody was like, "You gotta do this." You know what I mean? And
mm,
that's what planted the seed. And the thing is,
mm.
probably it was too much because their expectations was because I went home and wrote a joke that night.
Okay.
That I still use it now. You know what I mean? And this
Which one?
that was like you haven't heard it yet. You haven't heard it.
Ah,
Yeah. But
I thought I was gonna get it.
no, that's in the chamber. That's in the chamber.
Let's
But
go.
not but my point is that
Yeah, yeah.
their expectations were so high of me that I was scared to do it because there's no way I could have done it and stopped them from coming,
Hmm.
So
Wow.
it kind of scared me away from it for a
Hmm.
little while.
So
Yeah.
that's what hit home for you and what kind of brought you into that
Oh
world.
yeah.
Then okay,
Oh
that's
yeah.
dope, man. That's dope. Yeah, I just wanted to know a little more about on that. I was just like, I mean, it kind of all makes sense. Everything you've been through, all your past experiences. It's just like what you talk about kind of all makes sense. So appreciate that, man. Appreciate you giving me a little bit of extra insight on that. Let's talk real quick. So right now you got BS, right?
Yeah.
Right now you're
Yes,
currently
with Brian
working.
Simpson.
Okay, so how'd that all come about?
The podcast.
Yeah, man, how'd the podcast come all
Um.
about?
You know what it is that I've had a few podcasts before,
Mm-hmm.
and they was always with like groups of like other people,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Panels.
and yeah, but I always wanted to do one myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I just didn't know how. I didn't know all the technical shit,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I kept doing podcasts with people because they were willing to do all that technical shit, but I had to
Mm-hmm.
like let them have a say so and stuff. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And and so finally, after the last one ended, I was just like, because I'm not feeling this, you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, and I'm not feeling this committee shit either, you know, like
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
so I gotta just buckle down and learn how to do this shit on my own, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's really where it started. Is I was just like, I'm just gonna put one out and see what crack, and
It's
it got a
dope.
good response.
It's dope. It's dope,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Hey,
I gotta put more.
they don't want no wreck. They don't want no wreck. Yo,
Yo, you
I
heard that
saw
shit, right?
yeah, the swoop dude. Hey, you
Yeah.
requested that to be on the beat and you got it, bro.
I know,
That's
man. No, those
hilarious.
the Your Mom's House fans are the best. Like, I want them fans. I want those
Yeah,
kind of people. Where it's like
yeah.
they, as soon as I asked him that, he was like, "Oh, now someone's gonna do it."
It's
And
booming.
then two or three people
It
did it.
oh wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard it on your intro, your last one. I was like, oh man, he really got it. So hey,
Yeah.
so he's saying won't no they don't want no wreck. Like they don't
That's
want
what
no
it's.
problems. Like no
Yeah,
problems.
exactly. That's how I would interpret that.
Yeah,
If he said
yeah,
that to me, I would be like, "Oh, well, he's saying I don't want no problem."
yeah, yeah,
All that other, but then what the controversy is there's a dude that's like, "No, I'm a
yeah,
blood. I know bloods." He's saying some other
yeah.
shit. I'm like, well,
There's always somebody with their own opinion on what they think. No, the dude said won't no wreck.
yeah. Look, my nigga, listen. Also it don't really matter. What matters is this, because what you said don't matter as much as how it's received. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it don't matter what the fuck he was saying. What matters is what do it sound like he's saying, and how would most people react to that shit?
absolutely.
If he made them exact sounds on every street in America, the
Yeah.
vast majority of people would be like, "Oh, he want to throw hands."
Oh, absolutely.
He
That's
telling
what
me I
I
don't
got
want
right
to talk.
off the rip.
Right. So I'm
Absolutely.
not. I forget what the other side is saying, but that just sound ridiculous to me. Work. No rep.
Said
What the
I'm
fuck?
from so and so and so and so, and they say this like this over here, and I was like, bro, he probably not even from the same place you from.
Yeah, my nigga. I'm like, yeah, they do that shit over there, nigga. That's like
Oh man,
they put mayonnaise on French fries in France, nigga. Do that shit over there. That's not universal.
yeah, eating French fries with ice cream. Come on, man.
Right.
I ain't never seen that. Man, that's so off the wall to me, man. I don't get it. That's good, then, man. That the podcast, bro, is dope. I love that. I love that you just sit there. You speak your mind. You talk about what you want to talk about, and you know you structure it the way you want to structure it. And I think it's dope, bro. I'm keeping up on it. I'm new to it, but I'm newly subscribed, so I'm gonna be a part of the
Appreciate that,
family.
man.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Appreciate that.
Keep working, bro. Keep working. And you know, obviously we're in the quarantine time right now, right? We got all this time on our hands and you know, getting out. You know, I know you mentioned, you know, you're not a get out of the house type of dude, but being quarantined just puts you in that mode of like, man, I want to step outside the house, right? So like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you, but you know, we still working, right?
Yeah, I do step out though. Like you know, I go for a little walk, go around the building or something, you know,
Okay.
stretch the leg.
Something light.
Yeah. I tried to put
Yes.
this my cat on a leash. She's not with it.
You put a cat on a leash?
I tried, man. No,
I
because
ain't never seen that.
I just listen, there's two ladies. There's two ladies in my neighborhood. I see them from my balcony all the time walking their cats. And my
What?
yeah, and see my cat used to be, there she go. My
Is it
cat
a
used
big
to
cat?
be,
Oh, that's a big cat.
yeah,
Oh
she
yeah,
used to be,
that's like a dog.
She used to be an
A
outdoor
baby
cat.
tiger. It's a baby
So
tiger.
now she so now she damn she's in an apartment. And so I'm like, oh
And shit
maybe okay,
used to.
maybe I can walk her, right? But she's not about all of
That's
the restraint,
hilarious.
my nigga. She's like, I'm trying to go
Nah,
outside, but I ain't trying to be on no leash, my nigga.
they want to run wild.
Right. She wanna go chase
Damn.
shit.
How many pounds is she?
I think
Bro,
she
she looked
about
like a mini tiger.
I think she
What's
not that big. She
what's
about
that? What's
I don't
that
know.
new Netflix show with the lion or
Oh,
the
oh,
tiger catcher?
Tiger King.
Yeah, she a tiger king, bro.
Yeah, Tiger. I watched that. That shit was good, man. That shit
Yeah,
was
man.
good.
Yeah, man. My yeah. I need to get into it. They talking about reopening the investigation and all kind of other stuff now after
What
that show.
on Carol Baskin?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, how
They
you
got a
doing
milk
that?
cart. They got a milk carton ad on it for them.
Y'all think Carol Baskin came this far to get caught?
Man,
Come
he
on.
81 years old right now. Do you know how many 81-year-old white Caucasian men all look the same? They ain't gonna never find that man.
No, they ain't gonna find that man because he dead. That
Oh
man gone.
man, that's
That man
crazy.
gone. Now look, I don't know if she killed him, but but look, I
What you
know
think?
I was sitting up here watching that shit with my roommates, right? And
Man,
I remember from like by the second episode, before any of the when they were still talking about tigers, right?
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
before all the controversial shit came up, I was like, you know what? I agree with everything this woman has said, but I don't trust that bitch. I'm still
Not,
on yeah, I'm
not at
still
all.
on Joe Exotic side because it's something seemed evil about her. And then the shit started coming out, and I'm like, oh man, everybody in this film crazy as shit.
Hey, bro, when under the wheel, what got me is under the wheel piece where they say cause cause of death is by disappearance. I was like, what? Bro, she like totally made that piece up just to get the will out. And I was like, oh yeah, that's way suspect. Way suspect. I can't even believe they let a legal document like that be put together like that.
But at the same time, though, it's like what you supposed to do. Look, if you because look, if you married to a millionaire and they disappear,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, giving her the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he just disappeared, right?
Mhm.
He did crash his plane going to Costa Rica or whatever, right?
Mhm.
What you supposed to do? You supposed to leave that money sitting in the bank so it don't
Mhm.
look a certain way? Nah, go
Yep.
get your bread, Carol.
Yeah.
But
He definitely did that.
yeah, she went and got that bread like immediately, like
Immediately.
the day she was allowed to get
Like
that shit, she found that shit.
they, yeah, they was like, what was it, 5 years after,
See,
something like that.
that's what make it suspicious to me.
Yeah,
It's
at the
just
time.
because it's like because in 5 years you don't learn how to survive without that money.
Mm-hmm.
And so you supposed to at least forget about it for a day. You supposed to be, oh yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? Or till you have a money problem. But she 5 years went by and she was like,
Man,
oh, she was on top of that shit immediately.
man, that's crazy. That's a
She's
crazy
probably
story.
she's probably at the courthouse at 6:59, like it's 7 a.m. and was the first one in
On the dot. Clock strikes 7. I'm in there. Boom.
there. Right.
Paperwork ready. That's hilarious, bro. So
Ain't
what
that,
you
ain't that
so
some shit?
man, that
When
is
this
bro, it's
the
crazy.
documentary's about another motherfucker and everybody's suspicious of you.
Man,
Think
she's
about
she
that. You're the villain in a documentary about another motherfucker going to prison.
mm,
And what the vast majority of the public got out of it is that you suspicious.
wow.
That's some wild shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they didn't and this they just dropped it in quarantine time. They got everybody thinking, they got everybody. Ain't nobody gonna find him if we quarantine, I tell you that.
Yeah, nah, she not going to prison. She got them Hillary Clinton vibes, dog.
Man, just
Everybody that could fuck with her is gone.
gone.
Yeah, everybody that could fuck with her gone.
Excellent.
Trust me.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Hey, bro. So what
yeah.
else? So what else? So what's next for you, man? I mean, obviously, things are kind of at a halt right now, but you got the podcast and everything going. You got any, creative ideas or things that are kind of next for you, like, from a project
Yeah,
standpoint
yeah. I got some shit. I got some shit on the horizon, man. I can't.
on the horizon? We can
Yeah,
keep
but
it under
I can't really speak on it. I mean, because another thing about out here is nothing in Hollywood is happening till it's happening. You know what I mean?
hmm Yep, and
So
nothing's safe. No information is
right,
safe.
some shit could actually be happening and not happening.
Crazy,
You know
man.
what I
It's
mean?
a, it's a massive world.
You could literally be in the middle of making some shit that ain't gonna happen.
Wow,
You know what I mean? And it's already decided.
wow.
Yeah. But no, but there's shit. Yeah, I got some stuff coming up that I don't really want to speak on until I
Yeah.
know more.
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. I just want to
but
make sure we can anticipate something from you. We can, you know, we can know something's gonna come out good from this time that we in right now.
oh yeah, it's gonna be some. I mean, at least as long as the quarantine's going, I'm just gonna try to make the podcast episodes more regularly and make the
Hmm
Instagram videos more regularly.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but when it's over, we jumping out the gate.
So where can the people find you, man? Where can the people find you? Now you got the YouTube,
Just
you got the Instagram.
um, Instagram is the main one. I got all the other ones, but I don't really be on them like the Twitters and all of that, just because
Yeah,
I don't get as much engagement on those.
yeah.
Like so it's like yeah. So Instagram is where you at. BS Comedian on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Okay.
Um, I'm not on Snapchat. I can't keep up with a whole bunch of things, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
old.
man. You on TikTok?
I'm not on TikTok. I tried
We
to
need
get
you
on
on
TikTok.
TikTok. Get on TikTok, man.
I tried to get on TikTok,
It's boomerang. That's the way.
I had it on my phone for like a day, and it annoyed the shit out of me.
Oh my God. Bro,
The app itself, every 5 minutes the app is going, hey, don't forget about TikTok.
man,
Every five, it's like
I
I don't
can't
have
do
time.
it. I can't do it, bro. It's just one of those things. It's oversaturated right now. There's a challenge every 2 minutes. You can't keep what like you can't keep up with it. Nothing resonates, nothing sticks. But I mean, to each his own on that one. Yo, so hey, real quick before we wrap it up, what are you doing to stay coronavirus free?
I'm honestly, man, we nothing's really changed. I mean, we just doing what the CDC said. We washing our hands in here.
hmm
We're using, we're wiping surfaces. We're
hmm
leaving the house only when
Spot clean.
necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not doing no extra shit. I mean, I went to the laundromat the other day. That was scary than a motherfucker. I was like, man,
Man, laundry
every
match.
surface in this motherfucker could be
I'm
yeah,
hand
dog.
washing everything.
No, no. So
If I need
one of the
to
ladies that worked there, she was cleaning the dryer next to mine. She was like
Mm.
cleaning the lint thing and pulled the lint thing out and blew it in my face, like
Ooh,
not on
ooh,
purpose,
ooh.
but I just thought it, bro.
Just say-
You know what it is. You know what, man? Something I learned a long time ago. Some things don't need to be said; they just need to be understood. She
Man,
knew.
how do you
I gave her
understand
that
it?
look, and I was like, "Yo,
Okay.
lady."
Out of pocket.
No, she looked no, but she was so I could tell she didn't do it on purpose because she looked
Yeah.
so horrified.
Yeah. It's just so it's
Yeah.
crazy though, because all the things that you used to doing, like you gotta like really stop doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
And
touching certain surfaces and operating a
here's
certain
another one too. We limited to one movie a day up in here.
Oh, and
We know
where?
we up in my house, so now don't get me wrong. We binge watched Joe Exotic, but that's just because
Joe
that's what.
Exotic. Yeah.
Yeah, or a Tiger King. We binge watched that, but I mean,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we don't be watching those 4, 5 movies because we ain't trying to run through all the movies. We don't know how long this shit gonna last.
Man, who you telling, bro?
So
You
so
gotta
we
start
do
putting
one group movie a day. Okay.
Hey, you talk briefly about hoarding tissue paper and all the essentials.
I don't understand those people, man. Like, look, we have bidets in here. We have it's a Japanese toilet seat, so
Yeah. So
one
that
roll of toilet paper. I mean, one
will
roll of
last
toilet
a
paper
year.
lasts me. Yeah, it lasts me about a month. One roll
Okay.
can last me about
Okay.
a month.
We need to
But
invest
then,
in
but so it's like,
those.
yeah, man, get these damn. I'm trying to get this. This should be a black thing, quick, for days. Get them a day, dog. Clean this ass. Like it's just better. It's just better.
I'm
Just
about to
do
get
it.
me one of those.
Yeah,
I
because
went in,
people
I
was
went in,
fighting over.
man, I went into the store the other day and I just do like I'm not overdoing it. I ain't buying like crazy amounts of whatever. But when I get my carton of eggs, I like, I eat eggs in the morning. Like it's one of the things, it's one of my essentials and it's normal for me. It's regular. I went in there and bought 18 counts of the eggs. I get up to the front, lady walks up to me. She was like, yeah, so we're only limited to one case per customer. And I was like, oh man. I was like, they really got us out here cutting back on eggs. These people out here just they ruining it for everybody, really.
People are crazy. Like, why do you think food? Because the food is only running out because those people are out there buying it. There's not a food shortage.
People are buying so much stuff. Costco put out a article that they're not doing returns on toilet tissue. People are literally buying, they overbought on toilet tissue and they're trying to return the toilet tissue back to Costco.
Yeah, the crazy shit to me though. The crazy shit to me though is people are waiting in line for toilet tissue but not to vote. Ain't that some shit?
Oh, speak on it. Wow.
Yeah,
I
and
you
be out here
to a
not
whole
voting
nother
and still
perspective.
got a dirty ass.
Man. Wow. You put it in a whole different perspective, man.
Yeah, man. Look, I went to Target the other day because I have a CPAP machine, so
Okay.
I have to have distilled water, right?
Mm.
For the machine. And I go to the liquor store that's close to me. They out of distilled water.
Mm.
I go to the CVS that's closer. They out. So I end up having to go to Target. I go to Target. I don't even know if they had it because as soon as I walked in the store, this was one of those like one of those big Targets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I walk in the store. The There's only three registers open and it's three lines. So it's three lines with people with all shopping carts full to the brim, and these lines are wrapped around the store, like
Wow.
wrapped around the whole store. Like it's
Wow.
like 200 shopping carts in a line, all waiting
Wow.
to check out at Target. I'm like, I'm not waiting in this motherfucking line. I'm
I'm
not.
out of here.
Nigga, I got a water
Oh.
filter and I got I
Bro,
got a
that's
water filter and I got goddamn a bidet.
hey, get one of them
So
5 gallon joints, bro. Get one of them 5 gallon joints and go fill them up at the actual machine. Get about two or three of those. Set those aside. You'll be good. Distilled water.
yeah. I'm good now, but I'm like,
Yeah, but I mean, in the
we had to
future,
go
if you
through it.
want to avoid them crazy lines, bro, I'm good on all that. I'm shopping at the crack of dawn to avoid all that.
Well, now, out here they only letting only senior citizens can shop like real early in the morning.
Mm,
It's like 2 hours where it's only seniors.
okay,
Something
so
like
it's a little different than over here. Well,
yeah. Where
man,
you at? You in LA?
I'm in Scottsdale. I'm in Arizona right now.
Oh, word.
Yeah, so it hasn't
Yeah,
it
yeah.
hasn't quite hit us that hard, but they definitely kind of cracking down the law a little bit. Start yeah,
They just slow down there, man. They slow as fuck
yeah,
down there.
they're very slow,
Yeah,
but
you better be lucky. You better be lucky
I
it don't
know.
only affect black people because Arizona will
I
stay open.
Yeah, man. So I mean, we definitely going through it, man. I mean, everybody really. It's a worldwide thing. So, you know, I feel like as far as the operation go, it should be across the board. To be honest, that's the only way. You can't pick and choose how I don't. I feel you can't pick and choose how drastic you want conditions to be.
Yeah,
Based on the case count. I feel like it should be the same thing. So we make sure that the other states don't or other places don't get to some of these high peak places. Honestly, but hey, I'm not the president.
yeah. I feel bad for Brazil, man. Brazil and damn Mexico because
Mm-hmm.
they don't have the infrastructure that we have, and their
Nope.
president did the same thing we did. Like, oh, just keep
Yeah,
going shopping. Just
yeah, man. Brazil's a third world country, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be bad out there in the favelas and
Yeah,
all that.
gotta pray for them.
So we'll
Well,
see.
hey, Brian Simpson, man, appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you coming on. Giving your perspective. That's from here on out, man. That is everything with you is perspective, man, and a lot of things come from that. And I appreciate you coming through, talking about it. Yeah, it's another episode, man. Wrap it up. Is there anything you want to say to the people? Is there anything I missed out on? Anything you want to touch on?
Nah, I mean, look, make sure you keeping up on your fiber through this
Fiber.
pandemic because you want to be shitting the same when this is over with. You don't want to.
Keep up on your fiber. Eat your quinoas,
Yeah,
eat your vegetables,
yeah.
your
Keep your
broccolis.
fiber up through the pandemic. Yeah.
Keep your fiber up. Okay. That's it. That's the tagline right there. Keep your fiber up. Quarantine and keep your fiber up. Cool.
Yep. Fiber
Appreciate
up.
fiber up. Appreciate you, brother. Hey,
All right, bro.
most best of luck to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'm definitely gonna stay in tune, man. Take care of yourself. Until next time, brother.
All right, bro. Peace.
Peace.